And I feel like if our youth knew what that truly, truly meant, if they really educated themselves and used their resources just by simply asking a question, asking a relative, asking an elder what that word really means, I feel like they wouldn't use it, but because they choose not to, it's not cool, it's not, nobody really, it's not valuable. I think education is not valued anymore to our youth because it's not cool.
I think that the younger generation would be a little more mindful of the word if they truly understand the history. Um, I am very close with a lot of my older relatives. I'm very close to my grandmother. I was very close with my mom and my aunts and stuff like that. And they're from South Carolina. My entire family is from South Carolina. So from their experiences and stuff like that, I feel like I've indirectly experienced the N word from a different way than it's portrayed now. My father is from Connecticut. He's from New Haven, and so his experiences with that and his not really lack of value for the word is different from my mom's families. And I feel like even though I do joke around and say it around my friends and stuff like that, I do feel like I am slightly a little more sensitive to the word because I do understand how hurtful and hateful it is. A lot of kids now only experience it from rap songs, from cartoons, the most interesting cartoons. Just the term of endearment that it's turned into. We don't get a lot of Black history teaching in schools and stuff anymore. So I do feel like if they understood it a little bit better, they wouldn't use it as much.
I think that some kids do know the meaning and the history of the word, and some kids don't. And I think that for the ones that don't, if they did, they probably still would use the word so loosely, and they wouldn't really think anything of it.
We learned about Black history for like a month per year out of the whole school year, and I feel like people our age are like ignorant to it, especially since half the time we're not even learning it from a Black teacher. So I feel like kids don't really understand the meaning of it. We don't spend that much time on it for them to really grasp what it means. So I feel like they will still use it even if they knew, because it's kind of like a habit now.
Okay, so if kids were more educated about the word nigga, I still don't think that it would change things because of the way that they have learned to adapt the word. I know at least my little sisters and the people who they hang around know what the word means and know where it comes from, and they still use it just because everybody else uses it. And because when they use it, they don't use it as a slavery term. They use it as I don't know, the word has a completely different meaning to them now. I don't even think they get as upset as we used to if we were to hear like somebody who's not Black say the word.
Yeah, I think the only time where like younger kids where it would really make more sense for it to know the history is if they use the ER with it. I feel like that's where it would play a bigger role. But just saying nigga, I don't think nobody thinks too much into it because it's always used in music, it's always used in movies, and it's usually by an actor or a rapper or somebody that kids look up to, so they're not going to think twice about it being such a bad term.
Everybody always talks about knowing your history, knowing where you come from. There's no good in knowing those things if you're not going to apply it, you're not going to act on it. I can recite a history book, a Black history book, till I'm blue in the face.
But if
if I'm not going to do anything with that information that's constructive, what good is it that I know it? You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
it's like,
I feel the same way.
Yeah, so
I think that
you got a bunch of history buffs, but they're not doing anything with the information. That's why I said to you the other day, it's like, yo, it's about action.
We actually had
it's
that
about
conversation.
action. We can't just have
all the knowledge.
We got to
and
apply
not
it,
with
and then we got to pass it forward, or pay it forward, I should say. Like, having it is not enough.
Yeah.
So I know where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
I studied Black history. I went to a HBCU. Mm-hmm. I've gotten the knowledge, but what good is it if I'm not going to do anything with it?
Absolutely.
And just like, say a 15-year-old coming up right now, say he does get that, he or she gets that knowledge, just having it isn't enough. Mm-hmm. Just having information is never going to be enough. We got to act on it.
Yeah, what are you going to take from that knowledge? What are you going to take from that knowledge, and how are you going to contribute it to a greater cause than yourself? What are you going to take that knowledge, how are you going to take that knowledge and assess it and then bring something positive out of it? Because like I was telling you, like people nowadays, especially with history, we are in this age of this higher sense of enlightenment, and like I was mentioning to you last time, you know, it's a VIP club. Who knows the most knowledge? Who can recite the most history facts? Those things are well and dandy, but you know, history without a cause or a sense of forward direction is pointless. I can know, like you said, I can state every historical fact and pertaining to black people from the beginning of time till now. But if I have no major purpose in life or no means to translate that knowledge into something more deeply profound that's going to benefit my community or the 15-year-older who doesn't know about his history,
But you know what, yo? It's up to us to pass that knowledge. We can't just have it. It's almost like we gotta like. Let's take a ladder. We gotta lift as we climb.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going up. We're getting all this knowledge. We're getting more enlightened. Or the more popularized term right now is becoming woke.
Yeah.
While we're doing that,
Conscious,
we gotta
enlightened.
reach back and lift up our younger brothers, our younger sisters, to make sure they're getting the same thing we're getting. And understand.
I think that it won't make a difference because the kids in our generation have become so entitled because they always hear it in the music and it's becoming common with them, and like the music that they listen to with like big names and the things that are going on in pop culture, they always go along with what celebrities say and they don't follow their own path.
Yes, because not knowing where you come from, a lot of times it causes you to repeat and do things that are contrary to the people who preceded you. So therefore, you should always know where you're going, where you came from, so you'll know where you're going. If you don't know your history, you're doomed to do things that people struggle for to get better for you, but you don't really see it that way because you're so busy being yourself, you don't relate to the past to the
I
present.
mean, I find it funny how in the black community, we use the word every day. In the morning, afternoon, night, use it everywhere. I've even heard it in churches, you know, they use the word. And my thing is, it's so cool for us to use it, but I've had people get upset when Hispanics use the word. And I've seen people fist fight when white people use
You know,
it.
if they're raised and informed and given knowledge about where the word came from, what it means, you know, what it's turned into, and what it has done to many people, maybe some children might try and eliminate the word, but I do feel like it'll be very, very tough. I mean, it takes, I think they say 30 days or so to break a bad habit or to change a behavior. I mean, there are a lot of things that represent bad things, like sagging pants, for example. Some kids don't necessarily know what that means, but if they were taught to know where that derived from, I don't know if they would say, you know what, from now on I'm going to pull my pants up. I think they might say, well, this is me and this is how I feel about it, so this is what I'm going to continue to do.
I think it goes back to what I said before about being impressionable. I think, like she said, you know, if kids knew what it meant to sag their pants or, you know, it's something like that, today's age, it's like with so much technology and so much information out there, it's like, it's accessible for them to look those things up on their own, but it's feel like they're kind of like babied along the way here, so it's like they don't get that knowledge like we got as parents who was in the households day in and day out, teaching us how to act, teaching us how to behave, how to speak appropriately and do those tough things. So because they have all these different avenues to go do what they want, they feel like I can say what I want, I can eat what I want, I can drink what I want, I can act however I need to want because that's what fills my need of myself being in the world today. So I mean, in terms of thinking that it'll change, I mean, it's a possibility. You always have hope for change, but it starts somewhere, and where that is, it could be the classrooms, it could be back at home, it could be somewhere, but they all need to start from a base.
In my opinion, today you really don't know the meaning of the word nigger, and I hate to use that word even in trying to describe it, but if they knew it, the meaning of it, and how it came about, I don't believe they would use it so freely. I think they would be more reserved in their use, and especially with people of other races. And as I said before, I don't believe it should be used by any of us. I think the connotation is too negative to be a part of our vocabulary, our arsenal of words that we use. So in my opinion, if it was left to me, I would strike the word N-word from the vocabulary period.